Hey, what's up guys? This is Thi3n bringing you another YouTube video. This time, this is going to be focused on Season 10 and how I leveled on the PTR, as well as me hopping into a GR70 and hopefully completing it. As you can see, my character has just under 16 hours played, and we've self-found all of our gear, played solo the entire time, and our gear isn't perfect. We're using a halo, for example, and we don't have ice armor on. Ideally, this would be like an obsidian ring of the zodiac. In the cube, we're using an engiome, which isn't optimal or anything like that. You can see my build is pretty much the standard build from the advanced video. Combustion, magic weapon deflection, teleport calamity, energy armor, force armor, static discharge, and blizzard snowbound. We're only Paragon 587. We get extra EXP because of the PTR EXP buff or whatever, but we did this all within a couple days. If you're catching this video right when I released it, you can go to my Twitch channel and see how I leveled up straight from level 1, the first mob I killed and whatnot. I'll talk about that a little bit as I hop into the rift here. So leveling up this season, I actually did a round of bounties right off the bat, which, my logic was I'm going to do bounties in the very beginning to give myself bounty materials, and then I can use those once I hit level 70 to cube stuff. It turns out if I had to do it all over again, I probably actually wouldn't do bounties right away. And the reason is, you want to do your season's journey. It's not just about hitting level 70 and being ready. You want to be able to do your season's journey, and in chapter 4 of your season's journey, one of your recipes or one of your completion tasks or whatever is getting 5 jewelry recipes. And the best way to get those is actually from bounty bags. So you should probably wait until you're level 70 and then do a round of bounties, and then you can get your jewelry recipes that way, because each one of the boxes will probably have them. So what did I do to level up? So I did that round of bounties, and then I did a whole bunch of rifts and stuff like that. Basically just equipping whatever items I could find right away. I used Disintegrate a lot while I was leveling up. I was able to find like an etched sigil. I didn't have a Leoric's helm or anything like that, but we got to level 70 in about 2 hours. We completed all of our season's journey by about 4 hours of gameplay, and then we started just farming for this build, and we managed to get this build within the second day of the PTR, so pretty happy about that. I do want to talk about basically unoptimal gear and using what you find. So right now I'm using like a 17-second Swami, and I'm using Fazulas in the cube. And ideally I'd actually be using like Swami in the cube, so I could get all 20 seconds of the overlapping Archon, and then using a Fazulas that's on me. But that's not the case. We kind of just have to use what we get. It's not always going to be perfect. The 70 is going pretty easy. There's not much to really say about this rift. It's still the same gameplay that you've seen in my other videos. This time, I guess, outside of Archon, I'm actually a little bit more brittle, and I don't have Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, so I don't really care that much about. Like attacking stuff outside of Archon. That's pretty much the only difference, but it still pretty much functions the same way. I do want to talk about what's called the momentum-based build. So if you've noticed, I haven't died yet, and I've been able to maintain my Archon stacks while we've been going through this, and that really helps the build. I've seen a lot of comments on my advanced video. Man, I keep dying. The build feels so weak. And the reason that happens, or why the build feels weak when really it isn't, is because of this idea of momentum. And wow, I just died there. But when you die, you get set back a lot because of the overlapping Archon stacks. So, you know, if you were to stay, that basically sets you back 2 rotations of Archon. So you see this first rotation of Archon here. I got my first set of Archon stacks, but it won't be till the second time that I activate Archon that that I'm going to be getting the full power of the build. And so, you know, it's so funny. As soon as I go to talk about momentum-based build, I die. But yeah, it really does suck. It sets you back a lot. And you'll see here when I hop into Archon. See, now I have 85 and 50 overlapping Archon stacks. You know, each Archon stack, because of our build, gives us attack speed, and that helps us proc our mantled heal even more. So when you die, you lose both sets of those stacks. You got to start from scratch, and it sucks. I'm going to stand in this Oculus ring created by my mark here. And so when the build, you know, you're dying a lot and it doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel powerful, it just means, like, you know, you gotta increase your player skill and your level of, you know, breezing through the content or whatever to allow you to just keep momentum with this build. Because when you die, it's gonna make the build look really bad and it's not that good. But trust me, it's not the build's fault. Like, you gotta make sure you're doing the right level of content for your gear, right? Like, my gear is allowing me to do a level 70 right now. I can't just hop right into a 90 or something. I'll show you guys my gear at the end, and it's basically, none of it's augmented yet. I don't have any, you know, crazy ancients or anything like that. I did get a pretty good weapon. I was fortunate enough to upgrade a good weapon. But other than that, like, I don't think I have any other ancient pieces. My gem levels aren't crazy high or anything like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just make sure you're doing the right level of content when you're leveling up and doing rifts. You want to, the sweet spot number, I feel like, is 5 minutes a rift, and that's just kind of a good rule of thumb. If you're doing it slower than that, you should probably lower the level of difficulty. If you're doing it way faster than that, you need to increase your difficulty and give yourself a little bit more EXP, a little more chance to find loot, you know. So 5 minutes is that sweet spot of, you know, efficiently farming gear. Just melt this guy. Oh, there's a power right here. Sure, why not? Actually, probably shouldn't have hit the power. I wanted to illustrate to you guys that it's possible to do without pylons and stuff. But, you know, this was a pretty typical 70. Yeah, we did it. You can see our gem levels are not that high. 28, 47, and 25. The endgame build actually doesn't use Gogaka Swiftness and probably will use Bane of the Stricken, but, you know, for leveling early in the season, we need that cooldown reduction from Gogok. So I'm going to quickly just go over the gear and end the video for you guys. I'll start with the weapon, which is my best piece. It is, you know, an ancient weapon. It only rolled 12 out of the 10 to 15 for the lightning damage increase, but all the other stats are pretty good. The damage and the cooldown reduction. Our mantled, again, is not great, but you just got to use what you find. You know, you can't always have perfect primal gear or whatever. Our gloves probably are our next best piece. Rolled cooldown, crit chance, crit damage, and int. I haven't even rolled anything on it yet. I'd prefer to have percent life or armor instead of that all resist, but, you know, it's fine. We got 8 cooldown on it. We're using a Swami helm, and this is what I mentioned earlier, how it can vary from 15 to 20 seconds, and we only have 17 seconds on it, but whatever, it's usable, and it's nice and ancient or whatever, so that's cool. Our Ami is probably one of our better pieces. It has int, crit chance, crit damage on it, and a socket. That's pretty much all you can ask for. Typical Tal's chest here. You know, we didn't get 15% life, but we have 13. Instead of all resist, I'd like to have percent life in that spot, but whatever, it's decent. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. Instead of fire resist as a secondary, maybe physical res. For this one, instead of movement speed, maybe having all res, or if taking off fire res for phys res. This chump offhand here with the bad int in it, but it has crit chance and cooldown, which are the important stats. Again, this ring isn't optimal at all. We don't use the secondary effect, which is the ice armor thing. But it does have 8 cooldown and crit chance on it, and it has a socket, so we were able to put a gem in it, so that's pretty cool. This rolled pretty decent. Lightning skills, which is important for our Lightning Archon build. If you need more tips on the basics or the advanced versions of the build, check out my other videos. But yeah, this has all the stats you want, increases our shield for magic weapon deflection. So that's all the gear. Thanks for tuning into the video. Good luck in Season 10, and see you guys next time.